Awaken Life is. Awaken Life is a movement where we strive to create awareness around conscious living, authentic living, and we believe that it's very, very important that the development of a human being has to be holistic at a physical level, at a mental level, and at a spiritual level. So I have seen often that many people, they're only focused on developing themselves at the physical level. They'll go on various diets, they'll go on various regimes and everything, not really paying attention to what goes on in their mind while they do it. What is the purpose of doing, of paying so much of attention to your body? Once you have that clarity, it becomes easier to reach the goal that you're wanting to achieve. Then on the other spectrum, there are people who are constantly working only on their emotions and only on their internal dialogues, not really paying attention to how their body is responding to all of these things. So your mind is very deeply connected with your body. So Awaken Life believes in creating a lot of awareness around these three concepts. That is, yes, yes, finally.
Finally, I haven't done a live in the longest time. It's
Okay.
and I just forgot that it has to be a certain way horizontally. Your system has to be like that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being with us, Itu. I was just briefing the crowd. I was trying to keep them busy till you could figure out and come back.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Apologies,
no,
apologies.
no, that's totally fine.
No,
Technology can be really tricky and it can test our patience.
no.
And
I work with technology all the time, but sometimes I just thought that the horizontal thing works. Anyways, thank you so much for having me with you. And the whole concept of your name, Awakened Life. How do you sort of live a more mindful, conscious life? How are you awakened from within? Because the light is within, and then from going from inside out is how we break the puzzle, bring the beauty out, rather than what the hustle and everything is going on around us all the time right now, that outside in, which never works. It's always inside out. And thank you
true.
so much for having me here, and congratulations to you and your team for doing some fabulous work. And I believe that every drop in the ocean matters. And what matters really is that if you have awakened to contribute, are you a contributor? And how do you even give back to the society? Did you make the world a better place from what you came into? If this is the thought that we live with and keep contributing and dropping drops into the ocean, then world will be surely a better place. Thank you so much.
Oh, beautiful. Absolutely. So I was just telling them about what Awaken Life is all about and how authentic living and conscious living are the basic pillars of how Awaken Life wishes to take this movement forward. And today we have you, and I was just discussing a bit about your profile. And let me tell you, when I went through your details, I was like, this is a true example of someone who's living life fully at a conscious level. There's so much work that you've put in. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome officially Eitu Vij Chopra to our platform. She's a founder at Karmic Therapy. She's a mental wellness coach. She's a life coach. And she's had about 30 years of experience in education and NGO. Okay, Ruby Singh. So she's a co-founder in Rex Ideas for Action and iCongo. Like I said, she's got 30 years of experience in non-profit sector and education. She's done a host of healing modalities and she's coaching thousands of people. And like I said, she is an energy corrector. She's a light worker. She's into sound therapy. She's into crystal therapy. You name it, and I think she's done. She's an NS certified NLP coach. There's so much that you have done, and I'm sure everything has culminated into deep rooted wisdom for yourself. And through that light of wisdom, I'm sure you're able to guide so many people and touch so many lives. So
Thank
tell
you.
me a little bit. Tell me
Namrata,
a little bit more.
you're putting it in that manner, and I feel a little embarrassed because I call myself a restless soul. So I am just, when I'm drawn towards things, I just do it. And so they say life is short, art is long. So whatever you feel to do, whatever is your purpose in calling, you should just walk towards it and do it, because That's what life is all about, finding your calling and purpose. And I'm just very glad and thankful and in deep gratitude that I have been able to find it, not by my own self, but there have been hordes and hordes of people who've helped me to embark on this journey and be on this journey. And thank you so much.
So, tell us, Itu, about this topic that we've been, going forward and back about, since you've been in the field of education for almost like 30 years now. And last, when we spoke to you, it was such a beautiful journey that you described about how you were an educator, how that entire background from your family has been a field of educators, and how naturally it transcended for you into healing and helping people. And so you've been working with the youth and the teens, and conscious parenting is also one of the field that you are passionate about. So
Yeah.
how did this whole idea came about?
Um, so just to very briefly say that I think I got that whole idea of conscious parenting from my parents, because till date my parents are conscious parents. They have been a hallmark, and they've been living and acting as conscious parents for both of us, my sister and me. And that has played a very major indelible mark. It has left on us as to who we are, what kind of things we do, what do we do. And we're very grateful that we had set of parents who've been very conscious from day one until now. And I remember my first volunteering or embarking on conscious life was with my parents, because the first time I, I volunteered to go to a place where helping out people, not the privileged one, was when we were very small, about 5 6 year old. And that went on. And my mother comes from a family, like I'm the fifth generation teacher. My great great grandmother was a teacher in the 1900s, and my mother was a principal of a high school at 21, and my father was a professor. So I think education and teaching came very naturally. We saw it at home, and the whole house was strewn with books, poetry, talking about those kind of things all the time, even till date. So then teaching came naturally. And conscious living and being sensitive and empathetic to who you are and what's happening around you, being alert and sensitive and aware, mindfully aware, also came very naturally to me. And I took to teaching, and I taught for about 16 years in various schools around the country. And I'm so glad that most of my students are still in touch with me. I quit teaching about 14 years back, and most of my students are still in touch with me, and they've come back to me as clients for the services that I do right now. So I think the conscious parenting part comes from just being mindful. Most of our behaviors are subconscious, unconscious. Most of them, 99%. But how do we bring that into conscious thought, into our, because everything that we do turns into habits and behaviors, and habits and behaviors stay with us. Habits and behaviors are convenience. Habits and behaviors are so easy because they're in the subconscious and the unconscious. So we do not even think twice before doing, acting, saying things that seem habit or that seem normal. So to be able to do conscious parenting, you need to be conscious, and consciousness lies here in the prefrontal cortex of your brain. And the minute you bring consciousness here into every act of yours, you will also be conscious parent. And I think the need for conscious parenting is so much, because in the times that are changing, if there are things that are left to traditions, things that were done, or the tools that were used, that were set of tools to be followed by parents, then it's not that. We need to change it from set of tools to beliefs about children. Need to change the beliefs and develop those tools in the children as well, because children are going to live with it. And if we do not pay conscious mindfulness into it, then we're going to leave children that are scarred, that are traumatized, that have issues, that would have mental health issues also. And then they would end up doing things that would harm them, and that would also harm the parents, and also harm at the larger level to society as well. So it's very important to let them develop those belief systems while they're growing up, so that they thrive. The idea is for everyone to thrive, not just live. Yeah.
So, what I sometimes struggle with is the definitions of a lot of things are different, where, in our times they were different. And now with today's generation, the definition of freedom, the definition of lifestyle, the definition of free will, free choice is absolutely different, right? So day in and out, parents are finding it very, very difficult to understand the mindset of today's generation, right? And that's where the entire struggle is. They are constant, like, for example, kids will keep asking for late nights, at wee hours. Just an example, so they would feel that it's my life, it's my freedom, and I want to be out with my friends, because there's a lot of peer pressure, there's a lot of other factors that play on their mind. And I wouldn't say they're totally wrong, but then parents today find it very, very difficult to be in alignment to what these kids hold as definitions in their mind. So where do you think we as parents can, one, upgrade ourselves to understand our kids better, and what as an example can we set where the kids understand what is the true meaning of freedom? Because I believe freedom comes with a lot of responsibility.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
So Namrata, very well phrased by you. And a good question. And I would say that, most parents need to step outside the traditional box of parenting. They need to do that. That is one. And then by doing that, you have to reframe, rephrase, refine, and then define. And all you thought you knew about parenting or about your children, you need to learn that how do they grow with that into mature, responsible adults. That has to come from us as parents. And so conscious parents engage and connect. You have to be engaging and connecting. And for doing that, you have to use emotionally intelligent discipline, not just discipline. Okay, so the choices have to be, rather than being punitive methods, they have to be brain thriving, connecting, empathy. Those are the kind of things that need to be there. So I would say that give your child the benefit of doubt. Another thing that I say is that Rumi said the children are born through us. They are not us. So they will have their own identity. They will have their own system. Of course, their lives are changing. Times are changing. The definitions of freedom is changing. The definition of everything is changing. The reference points are also changing for the parents and for the children. So how do you respond to that? And this starts from very young age. And I feel that as a parent or as a teacher or as anyone, you must give your children choices and start giving them choices from when they are very young. And when you give them choices, you also give them self-regulation. You also give them maturity. You also give them confidence. You also give them trust. So the minute you give them your choices, they understand that I can do this or that. And with that comes self-regulation as well. So that kind of self-regulation stays with the child. But if you're as a parent, you've always done that.
Regulation here, Ritu. I mean, if I give them a choice of either you get suppose when it comes to as simple as like partying, what we're talking about, going out and staying late, right? So we give them a choice, either you don't go, one, or you go but you be back by 10 o'clock, suppose.
No,
right?
I wouldn't say that. I would say make a choice, go, choose your friends, choose the party, choose the place, choose the cab where you're going, keeping in mind your safety of every kind. Go with consciousness that I just have to enjoy, but I have to take care of myself. So it should be self-regulatory, that if I'm going, what kind of a cab should I use? Do I give back my mother my tracking? That's my choice. That's self-regulation. Do I tell my mother where I'm going or my parents? Self-regulation. They're not going to. Do I tell them that, yes, I'm going to drink, but I have a sane friend who's not going to drink, or I'm going to only drink so much so that I'm not sloshed, so I don't put myself into self-regulation. So self-regulation, no. No. So I want to tell you, Namrata, that, one fine day, the parents can't say that freedom is a different thing. Now you've grown up. The whole concept of freedom, the whole concept of choices, the whole concept of self-regulation comes from a very tender age. How have you done your parenting that tomorrow when your child is 18, 19, 20, or even 16, 15, 14, is doing things out of self-regulation because the child has the trust that my parents are going to let me be, let me do. And I'm talking out of confidence with my own child, with children in my around me, and the children that I work with. Where children have told us both ways that when I tell my parents and I go out, my parents say, yes, go. Be careful, take care. I already know I need to do A, B, C, D. So those are the choices that the child already had as growing up. The trust was already there. The belief system was already there. But yes, if the parents one fine day say, today you're 18, something had happened to you, you're not going to go out, we never went out on our when we were as young as you are, then the child is not going to accept that, because the child is not you, the environment is not yours, the things are not what they are today, they are not they were yesterday. So you have to understand that with change, there is change happening. As a parent, you cannot put your tradition. That's why I said rephrase, redefine, refine, and then define what is freedom today. And most parents don't understand that. And at the same time, they would give examples like, it's not safe, that girl was raped, or that happened, or something happened. That is happening, yes. But how can you confine and refine and keep your child tied up in your home for keeping them safe? Because if you do that, the child is going to rebel, the child is not going to enjoy, the child is probably going to have mental health issues, probably the child is not going to be connected to you, the child is probably never going to tell you anything about themselves in their life. Would you want that? Or you would want your child to tell you, be connected to you, confide in you, before it goes and confides to any friends or anybody? So if you want that kind of an adult in your child, or that kind of a youth, or that kind of a young person, then you have to start working on this right from the day you have a child. And in the beginning, when I said choices, when you have to tell your child that you can't eat so many burgers or chips, then you tell your child, do you want to have chips, or do you want to have whatever which is healthy? Or you can also say, do you want to have it, this is your packet, do you want to finish it today, or do you want to finish in 2 days? So what is the choice you're giving the child? That you can control portion, you can have it, but you can control portion. So you have to give choices to children, because if you do not have trust in your children and don't let them choose, then the self-regulation will never come. Anything that is regulated on the top is only short-lived. For example, there is a policeman standing at the traffic signal. I will hold my brakes and not cross it. But the minute the policeman goes, I will have the tendency to break the law, day, night, whatever time. Why do you want the policeman to be there? But there are very many people who are self-regulated. If there is a rule, a law, a good thing to be done, it has to be done. Same goes with the children. Let the self-regulation come. And then self-regulation comes with conscious parenting. What kind of a parent have you been from day one? What is the belief system that you've given them? What is the connection that you have? What is the emotional connect you have? Or are you driven by society? Are you driven by the norms of the society? Are you all the time thinking of the have-nots rather than of the haves?
So Julie Bharwani is saying choices depend on the age of the child. Yes, Julie, I'm sure that's true.
I would say give choices to even child as young as 2-year-old. Do you want to wear a red dress, or do you want to wear a blue dress? Why don't you do that? The minute you start doing that what do you want to wear? Do you want your hair short, or do you want it long? Do you want to go to your friend's house, this one's or that one's? Do you want to carry in the tiffin today paratha or your sandwich? Do you want to study till 9 o'clock and then watch the TV, or do you want to watch the TV and then study? There are so many things in the whole day that you can start. So give your child choices. The minute you give them choices, you make them whole, you make them complete, you let them have the control. And the minute you do that, their confidence goes up, their self-esteem goes up, everything goes up. And then they know that they have to make choices. And this is called self-regulation. And tomorrow, if your child is at 16, 17, 18, wants to go, you will come back and see that your child says, Mama, everybody was drinking as if they've being let loose out of the zoo. But I thought, I don't want to drink it right now. Maybe I want to wait for 2 years. Maybe I want to know what kind of a drink I like. Maybe I want to know that I want to drink when I'm with my set of friends where I feel comfortable. Maybe I want to drink with you. So,
Right.
so see that. And I'm saying this out of experience with young people and with my own child. And I remember one day I have taught in two of the strictest convents in the country. And when I say that, I it was all girls convent, and I used to have these girls who were talking to me all the time and coming and confiding to me things. At 15, 16, everybody has crushes, and they would say, "Ma'am, we want to talk to you. Ma'am, I want to talk to you." And I would love that, because why did they feel they could speak to me but not to somebody else? Because I was not judging them. So another very important thing is for parents to not judge your children. And we judge them because we have been judged, or we are under peer pressure, or we are under social conditioning that this is right and this is wrong. Wearing a short dress is wrong. Even very evolved parents will say, don't wear this such short dress if you're going out at night. Why not? So collectively we need to do that. And we need to, also change these things. Why do we say she was raped? We should say somebody raped, a man raped her. The man raped her. Our whole conversations, our whole thoughts, our processes has to change. And that's why I called it the mindset shift. There has to be this mindset shift, because then it will be conscious parenting. And I know
But
of all
these are the realities of life. Don't you think as parents we have to kind of educate our children?
Yeah, you have to be protected, but how long will you protect your child? And then you will also make your child handicapped. Because
So why can't they be, so why does it have to be either this or that? Why are we talking about extremes? Why can't there be conversation around it, communication around it, and educate your child and yourself at the same time about the realities of life?
Absolutely. I said that in the beginning. Make connections, make emotional connections, make connections.
Because your fear as a parent could be genuine, that these are the realities of life, right? When you gave an example why you want to wear such a short dress when you're going out night, the fear is genuine. The parent doesn't really want to imprison the child, but the fear, I feel, is very, very genuine. So if the parent is saying,
I agree with you, the fear is genuine. And I see also another thing is that a lot of parents wants to do helicopter parenting these days. They want to be in control because the world is not a good place, because this is happening. And by just doing that, we are harming our children. So have trust in yourself and pass on that trust to your child. And give
how
them
does
all.
one do that?
Yeah.
Can
I
you give
also
some?
feel that, I feel that let the children fly high, be the safety net that is around them. So when they fall, you can save them. But don't let them not fly. Because if you have seen that these days parents, don't even let the children walk 2 steps. The children are dropped at the gate of the school. They walk in, they are picked up from the gate and to the car and into the car and into the house. And then there is 1, 2, 3 activities for them right from childhood. So where are you letting them just be? Let them be. And then you see that your children will thrive. And this is the topic that you chose, and I know that you had chosen this topic. It's such a debatable topic and so vast and so much. The only thing that I would want to focus here is that let your children fly. When you know that you've given them the right wings, when you have done the right parenting, when you've given them the right values, there will be surely be self-regulation. And your short skirt or your being drunken one night or anything does not define your child, nor does it define you. So let your children be connected with you. Let them be with you. Let them give you feedback. You should also give them the feedback. Check your self-regulation also. How do you communicate? How do you talk? How do you set limits? Do you do it with kindness, empathy, or do you do it with sarcasm and sarcastic remarks? How do you do that? because empathy, kindness, and calmness can be replaced. Then your child is more open to you. And are you cruel or degrading when you're angry with them? Is your tone disconnecting with them, or is it filled with acceptance and understanding? Because they are also growing up, no? They need to also explore, find, know. And, and I have seen that, parents who have trust in their children thrive. And the parents who control their children and are fearful, they are they don't grow, they don't bloom and blossom. Have trust in yourself and your parenting to let your children be. So I I, I feel it like that, and that's why I'm phrasing it like that. Would you want to say anything on it?
So I feel in my own parenting journey, it's very, very important that parents need to educate themselves first in order to
Absolutely.
be, because today we are still living 30 years back how we were parented, 40 years back how we were parented, right? So whatever my mother did to me, my father did to me, it's like a program. I'm in an
Right.
autopilot mode, right? And that's how it's just from generation to generation it goes on. So when I became a mother 10 years back, the first thing that I did was I educated myself about what is it to be a parent.
Yeah. Yeah.
What could be the pitfalls. I knew certain things that did not serve me while I was growing up, and therefore I resolved in my mind that I will not repeat those things. And my constant endeavor has been to be a conscious parent. And more than anything else, I feel, even though I struggle today as a parent, but at least I try to understand what my child is saying. I don't really behave on an autopilot mode when he's talking to me. you know it's very, very important to be curious as to what your child is saying, and that's when that trust begins to get built in the child, that my mother is listening to me, she trusts me, she's giving me a complete ear. And that so there is no direct answer to parenting. Sometimes I feel, if somebody
Yes.
says, okay, do this, ये चार चीजें कर लो and you'll be a fabulous parent, ऐसे नहीं होता है.
No, no,
Every
no.
parent is different, every child is different.
True
But
that.
yet, where I do struggle with is on freedom. There's a constant comparison where the child says कि okay, इसको तो मोबाइल लेके दिया है, आप मुझे नहीं लेके दे रहे हो. A 10-year-old child will come and tell me, my own son, कि my friend has a mobile, he has a laptop, he's playing games, he has these gadgets, he has so many nerve guns, and why don't I have it? So for them, that is freedom, right? The freedom to buy whatever they want, right? So
So Namita, as I said earlier, that connection, conversations, help, and the four things that I'm going to say: respect, be authentic. If you tell your child that I do not have the money to give you this, but yes, I can promise you a better phone when you're this much, I'll start collecting money to buy you a phone, and as soon as I have it, I will give it to you. But I don't have right now. So respect your child's curiosity or whatever he's trying to tell you, or whatever he's at that point of time, with the thought or the idea or the concept that he's struggling or she's struggling with. Be authentic yourself. Talk less, act more. I would say be mindful of your child's age as well. Different things happen at different age. Don't stick to no all the time. There could be a better answer. Don't be rigid, I would say don't be rigid, and don't be in a hurry all the time. That I have told you this, you better do this. You better act like that. Don't be in a hurry all the time, because let the child assimilate, let it soak, let it come, and you will see that that's where self-regulation works. That your child will himself or herself come back and say, no, I don't think I need it. I don't think we have the money. I don't think we should do it. And also making them participate. The minute you start from I to we, the word, and that goes for everyone, and that even goes for great leaders also. So great parents make great leaders. So leadership is not just about in the corporations, it's about home, it's about having children who are leaders, who think in that manner, who have the growth mindset, not the fixed mindset, who also say that yes, I can do it, yes, I will do it tomorrow, never mind mama, tomorrow I will buy it. Or you say that there are so many other ways. But when we become rigid and we do all of those, then that's where things go wrong. And another thing is that stay focused on the long term goals also for yourself, for your child. It's the small things that make the long term goals, no? Those little incidents, and they stay in the memory of your child, and that's where the connections are made. These little memories make the connections. And change on how you see things, not just how you act. See how you are looking at those things, and stop being so judgmental about yourself, about others around you, and about your child. And we come from fear based all the time, fear based, all the time that's happening to us. So reflections by parents help the child's reflections. The more you reflect as a parent, the child will reflect more. And also when you make it we, I don't think we can do it, I don't think we should do it, I don't think we have the money. The minute it is we, you become a team. Then nobody is this side and that side, it's us. And I have seen that working not only with your children, it works with your teams, it works with your, wherever you're working, it works everywhere. When we make we, I into we make children also accountable, and we are making ourselves also accountable to what we're doing. So that kind of little shifts do help.
So Ruby has a question when she's saying maybe sometimes it's not about money, but something that we as parents think that the child isn't ready or to explore yet. Maybe, yeah. So, but that is difficult for the child to understand it too, because someone of their own age is already using it. Maybe she's talking from a mobile perspective.
Yes, I gave the example of money, but I agree with Ruby that yes, it's for very many reasons that I am so rigidly against the fact that, the other day also when I was at the airport and I was sitting in the lounge, I saw this mother of a child of 1.5-year-old. She's given her child the phone and she kept the phone there. The child was talking or doing something, and she went about doing her work, and the child is so bemusely, engaged. So when you have done this from child, when the child was 1 year, you kept giving your child the mobile phone. You want the child to shut up, not disturb you, do that. And tomorrow when the child is 10-year-old, when the child is asking, then you are blaming the child. So there comes the conscious parenting. There comes the consistency of doing it. Why do parents find it so easy to give gadgets at the flip of this thing right now at this age? You would have seen so many children, parents sitting in the pram and the child is playing with the phone. But why can't you say no to your children? And I know there are children who know that they can take the phone when they're going out alone for some time, don't want to use it, or there is child lock, etc., etc. So again, I would come back, have connections, conversations to let your child understand. And we so underestimate the child doesn't understand. I think children are wiser than who we are. If we have authentic, respectful conversations, connections with our children, never will you find that your child doesn't understand. And you can have your own boundaries created around whatever you want to do. But you have to do the work.
Boundaries work beautifully well. Yeah, I think boundaries work beautifully well when they are supported with a lot of conversation, right? With a lot of communication, two-way communication. So, as a child, we parents find it very rightly you said, 1.5-year-old child, 2-year-old child is given the mobile so that the child doesn't really trouble you and you can go about your own work. But when the child has become, maybe 8 or 10 years old, when they are capable of questioning you or back answering you, that's when you exercise your maybe power over them, saying that I don't want to give you mobile. That's when they feel that their freedom is being taken away, or they are not being respected and understood. So you can't have two contradictory behaviors.
Absolutely.
So right.
As a parent, you've seen that if also between the two parents, if one parent is saying something else and the other parent is saying something else, the child is going to, one, be confused, and two, don't know what to do, and then the child is going to play with these contradictions. So So it's not an easy task. Parenting is the most difficult thing and the most beautiful thing at the same time. And I think it is our duty, since children don't decide that they come into this world. We decide that the children come into this world. When we make that decision, that choice, then we should also make the choice of conscious parenting and doing this beautiful task of being parents all our lives, because it doesn't stop. Parenting never stops till till your children are alive and till you are a child. I think my parents still do parenting for me when I need it, and I do the same for my parents. For my children, sorry. Yeah.
So that's a beautiful point that we have drawn, that we need to learn to respect, connect, and communicate with our children so that they learn, give them a lot of choices so that they learn how to regulate things. And freedom, I feel, is uh, effectively used freedom is an outcome of self-regulation.
Absolutely.
So once as a child you have trained them and they have observed you as their parent, that you're self-regulating yourself, it's a quality that they pick up,
Yeah.
right? And then the freedom is not misused, right? Yes, Kanika, we will be saving this live, and somebody else also had said that it's an interesting chat that you guys are having here. So please save it. Yes, all our lives are saved on our grid. You can anytime go back and access this live, and it's going to be there for
I
you to
think
watch
children
it.
should be, you've brought the children into this world, you've given them wings. Just strengthen those wings so that they fly high and they know when to stop, when to fly, what to do. Just keep doing that, and you'll be a happy parent and you'll have very happy children. And that's the only way that the world will thrive.
Right, right. That's beautiful. So anybody, if you have questions, we'll be happy to take them for the next 5 minutes before we wrap this up. So Ruby, I think Itu answered your question.
I'm also looking at the question. If this somebody's talked about the short dress example that I gave, I think, this is also coming from society, and that if the girls are not wearing short dress, they'll not get into trouble. Why not teach your sons to respect anybody, even if it is somebody naked? You should just respect people, just respect their choices, respect who they are. And there has been statistics that it's not just women who've been wearing scanty clothes that have had incidences. People who have been full clad or also in hijab have had experiences like that. So as a society, we need to change our mindset. As a society, we need to teach our boys that it is okay to cry. You don't have to be boy up. Don't cry. Also, we need to teach our society that it's fine to say no. It's fine to come back home from even being married, after being married, that it's fine. I'm not going to die, but I'm going to cut off from this toxicity that is around me and come back. Not in my coffin, but properly come back to your house, because there have been incidences like that. This is social conditioning. We are living in the social conditioning. Girls like that, boys like that, children like that, parents like that, this age like this age. Cut off from these definitions, reframe, rephrase, redefine, and then define what is best for us. And
What is important is what is best for us, I feel. The whole conversation of freedom, freedom to wear what we want, freedom to eat what we want, freedom to talk the way we want is all right. But I mean, as a parent and also as a person, I feel we have to understand where we stand on the spectrum, right? So you cannot just go to the extreme corners of the spectrum and say that, from today, even if it is not appropriate, I'm going to be seen wearing short dress all my life, right?
you will be
So
surprised.
we need to understand where we stand, what kind of place we are in. I mean, this is what I.
So, you will be surprised that if you have been consistently letting your child have no things, your child yourself will say that I don't want to wear this kind of a dress in this space because it's not appropriate. And I don't want to get that kind of attention. Your child will say that to you. So let that come from your child rather than you pushing the child and controlling the child out of fear, out of whatever you think doesn't work. Your child is smarter than you. Think of that. And you have done the right thing for your child to be smarter than you. And you will see that Children are more understanding, they're more aware, they are very mindful. But help them and trust them.
Right.
I'm fine if somebody has contrary idea, contrary thought, um, contrary concept.
I I'm just looking at some questions, but I think that was the last. We
Yeah,
don't have
I have
any more
had, I've
questions.
had some clients who've been with me when they were students, my students, and now they are my clients and they're full grown working in MNCs and Fortune 500. And with one of them, I remember I've had a very recent conversation where the parents wanted to regulate this young woman who is in a country in Europe and still wanted to know if she's going out at night and telling her from there, from here in India, that come back on time. And she said, I actually laughed. you know you can let your child go abroad, but you still somewhere want to control because you think you're concerned. Have trust in your children, have trust in your parenting. Your children are so much more intelligent. And if you were saying that we carry forward our parents style of parenting, but you should also understand that with that change, there's so much change has happened. And if we keep evolving ourselves with the times and are walking with our children in this new changed manner, it is such a fun journey then. It's such a fun journey.
I think that is where a lot of parents stumble, you know. They don't really realize that times have changed. And 20 years back, mobiles were not there, and therefore you were not exposed to that kind of gadgets. And I still hear a lot of parents, हमारे टाइम पे तो ऐसे नहीं होता था, हम कभी मोबाइल नहीं, आपके टाइम पे मोबाइल थे ही नहीं
Right.
इतने. तो अब है, and now the world is going to be of gadgets. So of course, like you said, regulation is something that we need to cater to. Secondly, educate yourself that times are changing and it's important
Yeah.
for us to adapt to the new realities. But yes, you can be their safety nets, like you said,
All the
and understand what is your position on the spectrum, and have a lot of conversation around concepts, around ideas, so that you understand what your child is going through, what kind of thoughts the child is harboring, and there from there you begin to navigate, rather than laying down fixed ideas about what you believe or what you think your child believes. Okay, so Julie has, sometimes parents are also in between their parents who tell them to be careful, so it's tricky. um, did you get the question, Itu?
I think what she's trying to say is that there are grandparents around who tell
Yes.
them there are two sets of parents. One is parents and grandparents. So yes, that's a tricky thing, but I think again the same thing works. Educate them, make them participate them, and let it be be a team. Wherever there is a team, the team efforts, and that's where we change the belief system and we change from fixed mindset to growth mindset. Here also that's very important. Coming from the fixed mindset would not get you what you want to do, but coming from a growth mindset means there will be challenges, there will be changes, there will be different things, there will be things that you've never done. But if you go on there, then there will be growth. There's never growth in the set path, road not taken. Robert Frost. So you have to go on the untrodden path. And every child goes through the untrodden path. Every parent goes through the untrodden path. You become parents for the first time. And children are also children for the first time. So when we become a team and together do it, and of course take the collective wisdom and refine, define, rephrase, then it's always better. Sorry, Namrata, I am a die-hard romantic and somebody who says, I say never, you can do everything. I'm open to changes. And that's how I look at things, people, challenges in life. And that's how I pass them. Not that I don't have hindrances, not that I've had a smooth sailing. No, I haven't had. But yes, I have stopped and to sit down and say that, yes, I can also be wrong as a parent. And I don't feel ashamed of saying, I am sorry to my child, that I did it wrong. Yes, I'm truly sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. I have never felt small about apologizing when I am wrong to anyone, and to the most important person in my life, that is my child.
I think what is also important is that you stop seeing your child as a child forever. Right?
Absolutely.
They are little adults. They have a mind of their own,
They're
and
individual.
rather than all the time, just of course they need guidance. I completely agree to it, but that guidance should not come at the cost of strangling them of their freedom. Right. So that is something that is very very beautiful that I have learned in my own journey. That learn to treat them as adults. They have a mind of their own.
and and let them seek you. And if you've done the right conscious parenting, if you've been conscious, if you've been consistent, if you've been trusting, if you've been there, they will come back to you. They will come to seek guidance from you. They will ask for your advice. They will ask for your support. And that is a given.
Yes, Julie, the life will be saved. So many people are saying, please save the life. The life will be saved on our grid. And yes, it's a very beautiful conversation that we're having here. And unfortunately, the time is up and we may have to wrap it up right now. So thank you so much, Itu, for such a insightful session today.
Thank you so
And
much.
the greatest
I
takeaways
enjoyed
is
it.
trust your child and learn to regulate yourself as a parent and then let it flow through your choices so that your children pick it up from there rather than being all the time tutored around the whole concept of freedom and regulation. And like I mentioned earlier, freedom is an outcome of self regulation. So Healing Elements is saying thank you. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for signing in and listening to us. Itu, thank you so much for being with
Thank you
us.
so
Hope to
much.
have many more sessions with you.
Namaste to all of you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Hey friends, if you found the video interesting, make sure you like, share and subscribe to our channel. Also hit the bell icon to get notified every time we upload a new video.